Hello, everybody, and welcome back to twitch.tv/The Flickering Torch.
Thank you.
Stick 'em up!
Welcome.
Oh, well, I was going to make you stick 'em up, you old codger, but,
Oh.
stick 'em up, you old codgers, because we're back
Pew,
with
pew, 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 pew.
with more rootin' tootin' cowboy fun with our Desperados 2-shot. This is part 2. Part 1 was last week. That is how time works, linearly. I will now hand over the power of the host to our wonderful GM for this game. That will be my good friend Jordan, the Uninformed RPG. Are you ready to receive this boon?
I am. Give it to me.
Take the boon.
God, I have the power!
Is it heavy?
Anyway, thank you very much, guys. Thank you for joining us again. As I said, second part of our Desperados tabletop RPG one-shot. We'll very quickly go around the room, as it were, and introduce everyone. So we'll start off this week with Naomi, returning guest star. Thank you very much for joining us again. Please let us know who your character is in this little game that we play.
Hi, I'm playing Marianne, who is quite naive, but very enthusiastic team member, and she was very excited for our eventful train ride last week and to see what fun is in the big town.
And also incredibly competent, from what I remember as well. Like, she was just a beast.
Yeah, it was good.
Nice one. Thank you very much. And next we have Nathan. Please give us a recap on who you're playing.
I am playing Dr. Arnold Foster, which is technically playing the voodoo class, but I'm playing it more as a learned man. So Dr. Arnold Foster has got many a book, and every time he wants to do something, he's been scouring through his books to recap something that he's learned, and then being equally astounded when he actually manages to pull it off.
Yep, that sounds about right. And finally, we have our very generous host, Ben. Stick your hat on and tell us who you are.
Well, howdy. I'm playing Ace of Hearts. I'm a gambler with a heart of gold. Also, there you go, Addison. I enjoy that.
That your little channel intro jingle?
Yeah, he redeemed the reward that makes me do it live. So there you go, buddy.
Nice one. Well, thank you very much again. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. And as I said, let's jump back into the law-ridden, I should say, the very much not law-ridden town of Genoa, where we last left off in the salon, where Ben had decided to become an interior decorator, and I think Marianne was just mingling with the locals, and the good doctor was sat at the bar fiddling with some straw.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's where we left off last time. We'll skip on till the next morning. Where will you all wake up the next morning? Where will you all be? Will you be in civilized in bed, or will you be somewhere else?
I am most certainly in bed.
I'm sprawled.
Yeah, I think.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was sure the barman gave us the fancy rooms, so would be ashamed to miss out.
I'm sprawled over the blackjack table with mountains of chips and empty bottles of whiskey around me.
You're nude, right? Because you were in the bath.
No. He's wearing like a gun holster and like chaps and nothing else. He also won those in the game.
Cool. So shirtless Nerf got in throughout the saloon. Nice.
Very good. So we'll start our little scene with down in the bar as Willie Davis, the proprietor of this establishment, walks in through the back. He's got a little room and he sleeps in at the back and just comes in to start his day, looks around and looks over at where Ace is lying and just, all right, guess I'm starting over there. And he walks to the other end of the bar, starts picking up glasses. Takes him about 20-25 minutes. He's working all the way around, collecting all empty glasses. There's another girl who joins him, sweeping broken glass up. Just a sort of normal morning routine. You can get the kind of vibe that Genoa is going with. Eventually, he does get to a point where he has to clean your table, Ace. So he comes over to you and just sort of like he notices that the table you're lying on is like the way you're lying on it is like you're at the point like you're not lying on it on the top, and it's obviously only a single post, so it's like a balance. So he's like, he looks at the girl he's with. He's like, walks behind the bar, picks up his whip that he had before, and then from a distance he lassos the bottom of the table leg and just pulls it, and the table just falls on its side, and you go with it.
Ace kind of just slides down the table. Takes like 2 beats. Howdy. Where am I?
I would have thought my place would have left more of an impression on you than that, boy. How could you forget me?
Sir, I'm a God-fearing man. But please tell me where the hell I am.
Oh man, I could say anything right now, couldn't I, boy?
Others have tried. Where's my shirt? Also my friends. And my bathtub.
The bathtub's still there. Still in the corner. Yeah, I think you were the one who convinced me about that. Few people are giving me weird looks, but it's been meaning that a few more folks have been coming in when they maybe would avoid me. So, you did me some good business.
Well, then maybe you can get me a shirt, because I'm currently nude, sir. I don't know if you've noticed, but I am, in fact, nude.
Oh, I have noticed.
So I'm gonna walk in at this point.
Yeah, you got
Book in one hand. I'm sort of like correcting my own clothes. I've got a shirt over my shoulder. Not even glancing. I'm just gonna walk through the bar, throw a shirt Ace's way, and take a seat at the bar and just go. Sorry about this, sir. This isn't the first time.
Oh, it's fine, my man. Don't worry. I'm glad patrons can think my business is good enough to stay until the sun comes up.
Yes. Well, he definitely he'll definitely do that. Always the shirt though. Odd.
Oh, he has a bit of a reputation then, I understand.
More of a routine.
Ace is
Amen
like
to that.
buckling up his shirt. He walks over to his bathtub that's got like a little bit of water left in it, scoops out a bit with his hand, gargles with it, spits it back in, and then goes and sits at the bar.
God, if we were playing D&D, I'd make you make a con save right now. But unfortunately, not. Cool.
I think hearing noises from downstairs and stuff, I'll head down and see if we can find some breakfast.
Willie will see you walking downstairs. He goes, there we are. The three amigos back together again. I'll rush you up some grub. How's about that? You look like you could probably need it, son. And he taps you really, like, forcefully hard on the shoulder, Ace.
So I don't want you to be mistaken, but I need you to understand that we're not the three amigos. They're a completely different group of 3 people.
Hey, anybody 3 friends, 3 amigos. That's what it's like, right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess. I thought you were referring to the famous 3 amigos. You know what? It's okay.
That's kind of like if you call.
But I ain't stupid.
That's kind of like if you call someone kid around here, you know? Like, kid is taken. Like, we can't be the 3 amigos as much as we can't be kid either.
You boys trying to talk your way out of a breakfast or not?
I'm just making sure you are factually correct. And I'm like, trying to find boots around the bar or whatever.
And
One of them is in the back.
Again, I've got my book, and I'm just pointing to them. Mm-hmm.
Oh, pointing to his boots, right?
Yeah.
I'm just teasing you, boys. And lady. Come on down, I'll get you some grub sorted out. Place will be open soon anyway. Cool, so he scuttles off to the back, and you hear the sound of, like, crockery being knocked about, and then eventually the smell wafts in of some food being prepared. What do you guys want to do with the day as he's preparing your breakfast? Any plans you want to think?
Did we get the bounty money from the sheriff yet?
No, the sheriff's office was closed when you checked last.
We got to do that then, right?
Yeah.
We've supposedly been given a bit of paper that will, like, get us the money, but
Who
I
took
guess
that
we'll
piece of paper,
find
I
out.
wonder?
I'm just gonna shout into William. What time does the sheriff's office open?
As you sort of shout quite loudly, you hear sort of like a spilling of some more. Like, and then he scuttles through, like sticks his head out through the door. Well, I'm not exactly sure what time he tends to open. He tends to just sort of go if he's busy, but if you go hang around there any time now, he should be free. But if you don't mind, I got a bit of a... And as he says that, he kind of retreats into the kitchen. You can kind of smell... The smell you were coming through before is now a bit more burny.
The way I like it.
I've heard the crime never sleeps, but apparently in this town the sheriff does. So we should probably get to finding him.
So we're thinking breakfast first, then sheriff, or...
I mean, I am.
Yeah.
I am
Ace-
absolutely thinking breakfast first.
Ace sits down, gets like a handkerchief out, makes himself a little bib. He sat down, he's good. Breakfast first.
Cool. It takes you about maybe another 10-15 minutes before Willie kind of comes out again. He's holding 2 plates, and the girl comes out behind him with the third, and sets them down at the bar. It's just basic stuff. There's some scrambled eggs on there, a few fried meats.
Beans. Delicious beans with my fry up.
Yes, there are delicious beans with your fry up. And is that a dig at me personally?
Yeah, that is a dig at you personally. Yes.
Lovely. And he sets the plate, as he says, he sets the plates down. And he goes, "Well, breakfast of champions. How about a drink to go with that?"
So I need you to be clear. We're not champions. We've done some things, but as it stands, we've not entered any competitions or anything as such.
Yeah, the
So we
champions.
wouldn't falsely take the recognition.
This food is really good.
Well, thank you so much for saying that. He's just kind of not really paying attention to
The champions, I believe, are another posse that were around here. Yeah, you know, you really have to be more careful with, calling people names of things that already exist, my friend.
Well, I guess no drinks for your breakfast then. Or is it a change of tone I'm sensing?
Is that like a rule that if we don't have a posse name, we can't have drinks?
Hey, you do whatever you want, man.
Ace looks around the diner and he goes, and he sees like a ruler discarded on the floor. And he goes, "Where are the rules? The varmint rules. That's our posse name. We're the varmint rules."
I don't think that's a word. Varmint?
It's canon. Don't ruin it.
Yeah, doctor, varmint. Like when you have multiple of the same thing.
I think you mean variant.
Ah, we're the variant rules. That's the
we
posse name.
Ah, well, it's very nice to have you here, and don't forgive me, gents. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just a businessman trying to sell his wares. Now, can I get you on drinks on that?
No, not at all. Not at all. We just don't want undeserved recognition for another group's work. We're gonna make our own name. You'll know us, and when you do, we'll accept the due reward. But until then,
I think you already know us. What's our posse name again, my friend?
He's turned around and walked away at this point. There's some other people at the end of the bar.
he knows. Don't worry.
The more people are starting to trickle in, from around. It seems to be very much the sort of place whereby you just tend to clear the chaos from the previous night, and then you just get back to business as usual. But yeah, no, more people are coming in. So yeah, you've been furnished with food that you can, for sure, chow down on, and then yeah, the day is yours.
I'm gonna chow down.
Mm.
Yeah, it's very nice. It's definitely not high class, but it's food. It's nutritious and it will sustain. It definitely doesn't taste awful. You've tasted worse, but those were from people you just killed. So
We see goodness.
you see good. But yeah, where to next, gentlemen?
Sheriff's office, right?
Sheriff's office.
Mm-hmm.
Straight to the sheriff's office.
Oh, wait, no, he's a marshal, isn't he? He's a fancy
marshal.
big city U.S. marshal.
Cool.
Yep.
So you're heading
to the
off.
marshal's orifice.
Heading off to the marshal's orifice, are you, Nathan? You're gonna aim. You're gonna point yourself there, and you're just gonna plow in, are you?
Just gonna plow in. Just gonna
You
Penetrate the wall.
commit. You commit to that orifice.
go and look at the long arm of the law.
There is actually a line of that in the book.
Oh.
Anyway, before we get too far distracted, you all leave the saloon here in Genoa. You come out onto the main street. You can see there is some activity again. It's still sort of early morning. The sun's kind of low in the sky, but there are definitely people up and about. And yeah, like there are some people kind of picking up a few things that obviously dropped. There are people like picking themselves up from like the sides of buildings and walking along. Interesting enough as well, if you walk to the marshal's office, you'll see face down on the ground just outside a new coatless gentleman who's definitely like still he's groaning. He's kind of like testing, like putting his arm up and kind of testing it, and then he just sort of slumps again. But no, yeah, he's still there, and he's still just as bad, if not worse, than he was the night
I'm
before.
gonna go up to him again. Hello, good sir. Did you sleep well?
Is all you get. As again, he tries to like push his arm up. He tries it with the other side this time, as if to say maybe this will work better, and then nope.
I'm gonna go and get him some water from somewhere, wherever that may be.
There is a trough about 2 houses down that you can see is next to a hitching post, and a little bucket next to it.
Yep, I'm gonna do that.
Cool. So what are you going to do exactly?
I'm gonna go and get a bucket of water. I'm gonna bring you back to him. I'm gonna offer him some first. Try and get him to drink some.
He's very much still. He's sort of, his head's kind of like here on the ground. He's still very much like.
Then naturally, if he's not drinking it, I'm gonna chuck the bucket of water at his face.
Awesome. So you do that, and he just like at that point he just kind of look, just sort of leaps up, just shakes his head a bit, and like almost in a drawing, he sort of like spins to see who it was, and in that motion of like spinning, just turns and sort of keels over onto his back again. And he's like, he sort of starts looking up at the roof, at the sky for a bit. And he's like, "Well, I guess I deserve that. I'm good. I'm good. I'm just gonna." And he just sort of lies there on his back, looking up, breathing in and out quite deeply. So,
Good morning, friend. Is the marshal in? Have you seen the marshal this morning?
he sort of turns like from sort of laying down. He kind of like he hitches himself back and looks, and he's like, "Yeah, should be here by now."
Thanks for the help.
Anytime. Again, he's very much trying to like hold in anything that he's trying to bring back up. Cool.
Ace will
So-
give a rat-a-tat-tat on the door then.
What? You hear from inside.
I'm here to see a fancy U.S. Marshal.
Well, then you're in the right place. Door's open.
I'll open the
That's
door
a
and
lie.
gesture for the professor
Door
and
is closed.
Door opens when you open it.
I'll push the door open and gesture for my companions to go first.
I will enter.
Yeah, I may.
Cool.
Tip my hat to the
Yeah.
drunken gentleman and then go inside myself.
He's just so he chose to do the same, and then like, oh no, he doesn't have a hat. But no, yeah. So you walk into this office. It's a very whereas the rest of the town definitely seems to be a bit more worse for wear, especially on the outside. This building on the inside is definitely much more well taken care of. Or like definitely there's very little dust on the floor. There is a big sort of billboard on the side as you walk in with various wanted posters dotted about, and then you can see a little sort of desk at the back, as you sort of typical reception area type thing. And then there is another door behind that, and sat at the desk, sort of with his arms down, is a man in a long black coat with a sort of black and white scarf and a large hat with like a leather strap that hangs down underneath it. just sort of sat there like with his eyes down. And he looks up at you as you come in. And he goes, "What can I do for you?"
Well, I'll tell you something. I've only ever seen pictures of marshals, and you are the definition picture of a marshal. Great to meet you, sir. Dr. Arnold Foster is the name, and we're here because we believe we've completed the bounty that you put out.
So his eyes sort of perk open at that point. He sits back a bit in the chair, and he's like, "Well, do you now?"
Indeed. One name. His name is One-Eye Dead Hand Billy Bob or something, and then I pull out the piece of paper. I believe one of your lawmen brought him in, but he gave me this piece of paper.
I heard about him coming in. You the one carried him down the street now.
Well, sadly, I've not been eating enough protein lately. Not too much heavy lifting on my part. You know, the muscles aren't quite as flexed as they used to be. I'm more of a studied man. My brain is my muscle. This gentleman here is more the brawn that carried him in.
My thought, Mr. Fancy U.S. Marshal, is how am I going to transport the dead body without walking him down your main street?
Well, that's an interesting point. You could have, maybe, informed us before you arrived. But nevertheless...
What do you expect me to do? Get out some kind of mobile telegram machine that I have in my pocket that could also do calculations and maybe, I don't know, connect to some massive information grid where I can learn all the things? That is preposterous. That will never happen in these United States, sir.
Now, boy, you just talking about them weird alien shit now. What the hell is that? But no, so at that point, he takes the piece of paper and looks at it. And this was just sort of like, if you will, a receipt from the local sheriff who collected the bounty. And he looks at it and he reads the name, and his eyes kind of, again, sort of pique his interest. Blonde Eye Brown, you say?
That's the one.
Wow. Okay, then. It's quite the development.
You seem shocked. I'm going to be honest. It wasn't all that difficult. Just a swift catapult shot right between the eyes. Take him out.
Man's normally more careful than that. But nevertheless, you guys done good. Been looking for that man for a while. Preferably alive. Because I'm sure you saw from the wanted posters that he's got some information about his employer that we were mighty keen to figure out.
I mean, I'll be honest, we didn't check his vitals, but I'm sure if you've got a very good doctor on site, he's probably still living. I mean, there's only a catapult shot to the head. Maybe the blood was superficial that was dripping throughout the he was dead.
Also, in fairness, Marshal, he was shooting at us. We kind of had to return fire, and bullets pretty lethal. I don't know if you've ever been shot, but it sucks.
Oh, I've been shot more times than you've had hot dinners, boy.
On the flip side, though, I'm pretty sure your sheriff can attest that he was making quite a bit of conversation on the street, and I'll just look over at Ace. So.
Not gonna lie, it was quite the show.
I mean, if you really want, I can make him talk again, but I don't think he's going to be much use for information.
Oh, I think that'll suffice. As I said, would have been much nicer if we'd had him alive. He's been operating in these parts now for a long time, harassing trains and deliveries. He's been getting more bold. Normally it was just the wagons that come on through. Trains was something new for us. Wasn't expected, but maybe it's a good thing that you guys happened to be on the train when you did. Saved us quite the problem.
Well, he's dead now.
That's what I'm saying.
In fairness, it's not like it's going to keep escalating from this point. It escalated to the point in which he died, and then kind of ends, right?
I mean, he looks again back at the doctor. He's like, I thought you said you were a learned man, doctor. Did you not know before now that he was dead?
Yes, but you're speaking as though how can I put this? that there's still some kind of ordeal to be had. You still seem quite on edge. It's done. He's dead. He's got a hole, actually several holes. If you've ever been on a boat with holes in it, it sinks. The body's a little bit like that, you see. However, instead of the water going in, the liquid comes out. And his vessel, the body, ceases to do its job.
I mean, if you really want, I can get Marianne here to put some more bullet holes in him, but I don't think it's going to do you much good. He's dead.
I think we'll be. I think we'll manage. But there is another thing that, if you guys are so interested in the violence side of this life here, maybe there's something else you could do for me.
I mean, it's rather odd you're offering me another job, and you have not yet actually paid me for this one. I mean, maybe we should wrap this one up before we move on to anything else.
Not very American of you, frankly.
But that is a fair point, sir. What was that price again?
It was $100.
He picks up the piece of paper that he's still holding. Again, Doctor, not very smart for a learned man.
In his defense, you could have just read that off there yourself, and we could have avoided this whole exchange.
Oh, I was just trying to see if you guys were going to be honest with me.
God, no.
Maybe I was mistaken.
It was satirical. You definitely have it on the paper in front of you.
I might have been mistaken about offering you more work, perhaps.
I mean, you're also telling me to set my own price on a bounty that's already been set. It's kind of strange.
It's a test of honesty, my man.
Ah. Yes.
All the other people you sent after old Blonde Eye, they were probably honest. Took the dishonest to do the job.
They're probably dead now.
Very well then, boys. I'll pay you for what you're owed for this one. And, as it's a measure of my good faith, I'll offer you another contract. You interested?
You're darn tootin'.
It's so funny. I love it. I can't handle all the cliches. Excuse me. I've been hearing some rumors lately. Up in the old mining mills. Up the north end of town. A few miles out of town. Central. There's another person operating out of there. Two main branches of power in this region. One of them was old Blind Eye Brown. The other one goes by the name of Big Ann. Now, she's definitely something fierce. Think Blind Eye Brown was bad? She's clever. She doesn't do a lot of the killing herself. She gets everyone else to do it for her, but she's got a lot of people who can do it for her.
Kind of like you're getting us to kill her.
It's my job, son. It's always been my job. I've never lied about it. She gets people to kill innocents. I get people to kill bad folks, like her. See the contrast?
I don't see too good, I'll be honest with you.
It's two sides of the same coin, right?
You could call it that way if you want, but put it this way. You can go out here and deal with that little problem. I can pay you $100. Let's that hang in the air for a minute.
Ace takes his revolver out, makes sure he's got 6 shots in it, puts it back in, and then goes, "Well, I'm ready to go. Professor, Marianne, we're gonna go for the $100, right? That's..."
Yes, I mean it makes sense. I have to check my schedule, and I've got a few other contracts I'm gonna have to put on hold. I'll probably send some messages home and let them know, but I'm sure I can make the time for you, Marshall. One thing, do you have a picture of Big Ann at all?
There she is back there, son. You turn and you can see there's a big wall of wanted posters again, but like the sort of close to like FBI top 10 most wanted type wall, and there is a central poster which is bigger than the others, and you can see it says Big Ann underneath this picture of this very, very, not so much, I don't want to say butch woman, but like a very much like a chiseled look on her face, like a sort of hardened look. And other than that, she's got very long, like you can't. It's a sort of black and white picture. You can't really tell the color, but the hair that she's got is long and flowing, and she's got a sort of low hat on, and again another large like trench coat type look. And that's just from the sort of head and chest shot that you can see. That's what you've got. It's a very well done picture. Clearly, this is a photo that's been crafted over some time. Like they wanted people to know what she looked like. Like they really spent the time to make sure that they know, so that probably because she's been causing a lot of trouble for a lot of people.
I'll kind of point to the poster behind her. It's like, are we allowed to kill this one?
You think he looks thoughtful for a second. He's like, a lot of people that I've sent after her, I've said I'd give them more money if I bring them back alive. But quite frankly, I'm getting tired of it not working. You go there, you do what you gotta do, and the reward money will stand.
Ace rips it off the wall, folds it up, and then puts it like next to his ace in his hat. Or folded up.
Was that the only copy of that?
I mean, what would you've already got one. What would you need a second one for?
I'd like a copy of all of them, if that's possible.
All of these?
Yes, just all of them.
I mean, I'm sure I can get the one of the local boys to rustle you up some copies.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Also, Sheriff, this a man in town?
Used to be. Ever since that train line was built, it's been more of a trade town.
Know anywhere I can get some dynamite?
It's a mighty dangerous question to be asking a marshal, son.
Not if he knows who you're gonna fucking use it against.
I gotta say, I admire your grit. And you got a good head on your shoulders. Maybe your doctor here could learn a thing or two from you. But I have to say, it's all very cliche. He kind of looks side to side and then kind of leans in closer. He's like, go down to the old trading post. They used to deal with a lot of supplies from the old mines. They might have some stuff for you.
There's just this like massive plastered grin, all like shit-eating grin across Ace's face now.
I'll let her know you're coming.
Just to get the lay of the land here, you mentioned that's an old trading post. Is there a new trading post?
It used to deal in supplies for the mines. It still exists. It's been around for a while. It's one of the oldest buildings in the town. Hence the old trading post. But it's still a trading post.
Makes sense.
So, looks like we have an agreement, boys.
Yeah.
Well, good hunting.
Yeah,
If you don't mind, I'm very
We'll do
busy.
it a few times. And try and shake the marshal's hand.
As I said, I'm very busy. He kind of puts his hat down again and goes back to literally just staring. He's got a deck of cards that he's just shuffling in his hands.
Ace walks out the door, and as he leaves, he goes, "Weekend shake." Walks.
Yeah, I'm shoulder to shoulder with him, going, "You said that's what people do. You spit on your hand and you shake on it. You lied."
Ooh.
Right.
Plan from now, I guess, boys.
What do you think we should be doing, Naomi?
Quite like the idea of blowing up an old mine. That is some cliche Desperado kind of Wild West stuff. That does sound fun. I think if there's anything else hit-wise, it would make sense to go and load up on some stuff before we go looking for her.
Fair point. I just want dynamite. That's my whole plan extends to have dynamite and see what happens.
Cool.
I'm
So
gonna
that
get some
sounds like
cigars as well, so I can light the dynamite from a cigar.
Cool. Sounds like you want to head towards the trading post then.
Sounds like a
Yes.
plan to me.
Works for me.
Ooh. I'm going way too far back in minutes. So, the trading post in Genoa, as the marshal described, is in one of the oldest buildings in town. It's on the other side of the town from where the train station now resides, and it's the same part of the town where the old miners would have gone. It's basically on the end where the old track up to the mine works is. And yeah, it's like I say, it's a bit much more of a rundown building than the marshal's office, but yeah, like you can say there's a big sign up there for trading post. The O is kind of hanging down. But yeah, you can head on in, and you will see behind the bar. Again, it's a very much a similar setup to what the saloon would be, with sort of cabinets around. So you walk in, there's a sort of desk off to your left-hand side, and then around the room you can see sort of glass case cabinets filled with old, like, decorative pieces. There are some animal furs in there, various other commemorations. There's like a few newspaper cuttings from where the town, like some notable events that have happened in the town in the past. And there's a woman, quite a petite woman in her 50s, kind of sat behind the bar. I keep calling it a bar, you know what I mean? Yep. She sat there like swinging her feet on a stool, twiddling her thumbs, and she looks up and she goes, "Can I do for you folks? Don't really get a lot of people in these days."
My God, have I ever seen such a wonderful desert flower? Ma'am, what is your name? Oh, I apologize. Where am I, ma'am? And he slicks his hair all the way back.
You can see her sort of like, she's got quite like sort of shoulder length hair, and she kind of like picks her hair up and like covers her mouth with it. And you can tell her cheeks kind of colour a bit. Well, you flatter me, sir. My name is Martha, and I've been looking after this here place. I mean, what do you think? Is it a... Yeah, what do you think?
Martha, a flower by any other name would be twice as sweet, my darling. I need some dynamite, I'll be real with you. Kind of a big ask, I know, but you seem like the kind of capable, wild, beautiful, intelligent, wonderful woman who could supply me, just a weary traveler, with such a interesting item.
Maybe an empathy test.
I can do you an empathy test. It's 3d6 and then add my empathy?
Add your skill in... I don't know, I think empathy would be... Let me double check. I want to say it would probably be insight for this.
I have empathy and it is insight. It's 4.
Yeah, that's fine.
So that's a 14 all in all.
With your added...
That's a 14 with my added.
Yep. So, she kind of looks at you still very enamored. And she's like... Her face kind of flinches a little at the mention of dynamite. But then she kind of, again, sort of enamored by your charm as you came in, kind of, and like... Again, flicks her hair back, starts to twirl it in her finger, and it's like, I'm not really supposed to tell anyone of them. We're not really supposed to keep it anymore, but yeah, I do keep a few sticks around. You won't be telling the sheriff on me now, will you, boy?
She got like a hand on the counter.
Yeah, she's like, again, she sort of like, again, twiddled her hair and then dropped it and kind of pushed her hand down.
Ace leans forward and he puts his hand over her hand and he goes, "Now, why would people who feel like they've known each other for an eternity ever tell the marshal about such ugly business?"
Again, you see her face like full, like not just her cheeks, but her whole face is kind of going, and like, this is a woman who very rarely gets a lot of visitors these days, and kind of you can tell kind of from the surroundings you're seeing is like very much she has learned to be comfortable in her own company, and someone giving her the attention like this is just you've absolutely like reignited an old spark inside her that she hasn't felt for a long time, and she is quite frankly willing to do very like anything and everything for you right now, including source you some dynamite.
Excellent.
Well, do you need it now? I mean, surely you've got time to
Ma'am,
stick around.
if I would move heaven and earth to spend more time with you, but unfortunately this is a matter. I feel like, and I look at my companions, I feel like we've been sent by God himself. Do you feel like we've been sent by God himself, Professor?
I've had my book out this entire time, just making notes about the building, and just go, yeah, sent, God, dynamite, everything he said.
What about you, Marianne? Do you feel like you've been sent by the Holy Lord Jesus himself?
I'm going to be kind of wandering around looking at these cabinets, and I think find some nice bear traps and go, and I definitely think the Lord Jesus needs us to take these as well.
Oh, bear traps and dynamite. The baby Jesus would definitely want us to have both of those things. So, ma'am, I wish we could spend more time here. I really do, but we can't keep the Lord waiting.
Oh no. No, most definitely not. And she kind of puts her hand to her chest and kind of grips something under her coat, her shirt. Well, I guess I best go dust off those whole crates. She turns and scurries off out the back. Returns a couple of minutes later with it's sort of a small wooden crate with two rope handles on either side. Imagine sort of this big by this big, and she like puts it down on the counter and flips it open. You can see there are inside. It's not the best condition. There are 10 sticks in there, but you can tell because this crate's not really been stored and nothing. These haven't been used in a while, and the crate obviously hasn't been stored very well. So picking through, you've probably got about 3 usable sticks. But you can tell they're dry from what you can see. They've got an attached wick, and they definitely feel weighty, like they've got some significant charge in them. So
Ace just puts them like in his back pocket, like no special care or anything. Just whacks those in his back pocket. He looks around the counter. Does she say like ammo or anything?
No, unfortunately not. So this was mostly just a supply. It used to be sort of a supply shop, and then a place for traders to come in and sell their wares. So it was never like. It never used to sell like weapons or ammunition. It would mostly just sell trading supplies like furs and cloth and things. Which after if you imagine it being a sort of place whereby once the traffic from the mines kind of moved to the other side of town, it kind of got forgotten. This isn't a huge town, but it's big enough that people were no longer using this route constantly. So the business kind of fell apart, but. Yeah, they unfortunately no weapons or ammo.
Is it big enough for the both of us?
Is what big enough for the both of us?
This town ain't big enough for the
both of us. I'm gonna after Aces took his throw, I'm gonna go over to the crowd. I've got like a piece of paper that I've been filling in. I'm gonna put it next to the next thing. Put my head into the box. Oh my god, these are fantastic! I'm gonna pick one up and go. Are these black powder or nitroglycerin? Do you know? How old are they?
She's kind of like just staring longingly at Ace at this point.
I'm just gonna like grab one and just like run my nose along it. Interesting. I'm gonna look at them. Is there any? I'm well known with explosives. I have explosive skills. Is there any I can salvage?
Again, from the rest of these dynamite sticks you can find. Again, a couple of them are like you pick a couple of them up and they just feel like empty shells. Several of them are like almost covered in a thick wax, and they've been like something has obviously been like has leached into them and basically rendered them inert. A couple of them, you could probably try opening the ones that you are and seeing what kind of it would be loose black powder that you would be salvaging, not anything that you could kind of make into a.
So I'm not gonna try, but I am gonna say to her, I was like, "Ma'am, I'm sorry, but these are useless. These are trash. Would you mind if I had them just for my research?
She kind of looks at you again and is like, she seems to have recovered her wits a little bit. Like, you can tell that the look, she kind of, as she basically sort of said to her, like, what am I doing? She's got that kind of what am I doing look. And she's like, well, hang on a second. I've already given you those 3. I mean, surely you're not going to need all of them.
Well,
And maybe...
Well, you misunderstand. I'm actually doing you a favor here. And I pick up a piece of paper. So I've been running the numbers and just looking at your building. This building is definitely outdated and not up to code whatsoever. And these dynamite being on site, stored in the manner that they are, you are looking at a heap load of fines. I mean, I'm going to look around again and just go tut tut tut. I mean, you're already looking at a load of fines. If the marshal was ever to come down here and see the state of this place, I got a feeling you'd be out of business. Now, I'm not a carpenter, I can't fix your building, but what I can do is take these off your hands. I mean, this alone, you're looking at hundreds of dollars worth of, worth of fines. This just isn't this health and safety regulations,
Anne Marie, are those bear traps, are they up to code?
I like snap one shot. It's like, looks like.
We're gonna have to take those away from you as well. I'm terribly sorry, man. We've come at just the right time. This whole building could fall down if you keep in those bear traps and this dynamite on. We'll take those off your hand. Don't you worry. We'll do that for free. Just for such a desert flower. Like, come on, friends. Let's take these horrible things away from this wonderful lady so she can run her shop in peace.
We're gonna start putting the bear traps in the box with the dynamite.
Don't be...
You should really take more care of this place.
You can tell her looks kind of gone a bit serious now, and she's a bit like... She's recovered herself from the initial kind of lure of Ace, and is a bit... Is that so?
Ma'am, we will get out of your hair. I'm sorry that we bothered. And I'm just like wildly gesturing that they leave.
Don't be a stranger now.
The name's Jack, ma'am. Jack of Spades. I'll see you later. And then I leave behind with the rest of them.
Are you all head out of the trading with them?
Yep.
With
the crate of dud dynamite and however many bear traps I was able to fit in there.
We'll say 2.
Okay, cool.
This can't go badly wrong at all. This is definitely going to be fine. Cool.
I also left the form that I'd been filling out on her counter, and it was an actual office form for building code.
Something that's
Filled out
definitely
legitimately.
existed in the Wild West.
Yeah, 100%.
In the late 1800s.
Yeah.
Cool. So, plan for now. What are you planning on doing now that you've...
We're gonna go to a man and blow shit up.
Cool. Are you planning on walking, or are you...
I feel like if we're going on a mine in a Wild West, we need to go on one of those kind of pump carts.
all the way there?
Or we escape on one of those. Either way, it definitely has to feature.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, if you wanted to walk there, it'd probably take you a while, but you could probably very easily source a few rides, a few mounts. Say $101.50 for like 3 mounts for the day.
What about with a carriage?
No
can I
carriage.
go wagon?
No carriage.
Just a horse and carriage.
No carriages, unfortunately, for sale. This town does all its trade by rail now. They do not have the need for carriages.
Okay, I'll get a horse.
Can I go on the back of Ben's horse?
If you so desire. Do you have names for your horses?
Betsy.
Betsy, was that?
Yeah, I'm gonna find one called Betsy.
Yep.
Ours is called Ross.
Oh, that's the worst joke you've ever made, Ben. Cool.
I've forgotten who that is, to be honest. I just think I'm just gonna Google that real quick. Oh, she's the lady who sewed the flag, right?
Probably.
Probably.
I know the name. I just don't.
It's the flag lady, I think.
Awesome. You have two horses, specifically two. You have one for Marianne, who you've ridden a horse before in your life. Like you're pretty versed with this. Like this comes as second nature to you. I'm not sure how much riding experience Ace or the good professor have. I'm assuming Ace is taking the reins on this one, though.
Yeah, Ace has never really ridden a horse in anger, but he knows how to ride a horse.
Oh, okay. I don't ride horses. The professor doesn't ride horses. That's it.
Cool. So Ace goes on, hops up, not so much with practiced ease, just as much as Marianne does. She's doing circles around you at this point as you try and figure it out. But yeah, you get up on there tentatively, and then the professor kind of does that thing where he just sort of like getting noodle arms, just kind of claws his way up onto the back, and then just like wraps one arm like around your chest and the other one around your waist, and is just like there.
I'm very much a backseat driver though. I've read all about horse riding, so I can give loads of tips on how you should be doing it.
We can roleplay all of that journey, or we can just skip ahead a little bit if you want.
Well, is the journey more than an hour?
You're not really sure. You've been told roughly where it is, but like which direction to go, you'll get there.
Go slow enough so it is an hour.
I mean, I guess. What would you like to do for an hour?
I would like to spend an hour. The voodoo doll that I'd made from straw at the bar, I'm going to model into the likeness of Big Ann, and I'm going to read the book, I'm going to say the magic words, I'm going to do the prayers, and I'm making a voodoo doll of Big Ann.
Ooh, right then. Do you want to make me I believe the skill that you use for this is humanities. You can make a humanities check to craft your voodoo doll, but it also does cost you 1 strength of nerve point, I believe.
To make it?
Yeah, there is a cost to voodoo magic.
So it says here there's a cost of 1 hit, but I guess that's to use it, right? It doesn't tell me about. I mean, obviously you've seen the full rules, so I'll go with whatever you say.
So yeah, that makes more sense.
I only see them.
You craft it with a skill check, and then to use it, it costs you 1 hit to use.
Okay.
That's how we'll rule it. It's a bit ambiguous in the rules, but yeah, that's how we'll rule it.
3d6 plus my humanities.
Yes.
Which I have as a skill, which is good.
That is good.
What does that do for me? Having it as a skill, so that's plus.
You get to add your skill in wits to this roll. Whatever number you have in wits score.
Oh, beautiful. That's a 6. So that is a total of 18.
Yeah, that'll do it. You now have. So describe to me the process that it takes. So over this process, like what kind of things are you doing to this? What are you doing to this doll to make it all voodoo-y and weird?
I'm essentially I've got some bits of clay, and I've got more. I've got like more straw. So initially, I'm on the back of this horse, and I'm just digging straw into the head to try and make it match Big Ann's hair. And then I'll essentially using little bits of clay and a candle. I've got a candle that basically hardening the clay onto the voodoo doll's face to try and make it look like Big Ann.
Nice. Yeah, that'll happen. You can sense the sort of you hear. Only you hear this, but you kind of hear whispers that you know the sort of comes. This is an advanced skill that you don't really have a whole lot of experience with, so you know that whenever you do have to do something like this, then you can definitely feel this sort of weird presence assisting you along the way. But yeah, no, eventually those kind of subside, and you have in your hands this straw doll, which, I mean, looking at this likeness on this face, it is almost identical to this photo, and you were not even sure that, like, you didn't realize that you didn't think you were doing that good of a job of the likeness, but nevertheless it is there in your hands.
When I hear the whispers, I go, hey, Ace, did you say something?
I have not said anything in the past.
Are you sure? I could have sworn I heard you say you whispered something. No.
I am chewing tobacco.
Ooh, I got like a big shiver down my spine. And then when they subside, I go, Ace, I'm no artist, but do you think this looks like Anne?
Well, golly, that does look like Anne.
I know, right? Honestly,
Marianne, Marianne, and I like speed up Ross. Like,
Do you think this looks like Anne?
As you're having this conversation, you come through. You're walking down on this track, and you're about to enter a sort of small clearing of trees. As you enter that, can everyone who's got it, make me a perception skill check?
Don't have it.
I do.
If you don't have it, just roll 3d6 and we'll see what the number is. If you have perception, you can add your skill in wits.
Is it not insight?
Insight, sorry. Not wits, yeah.
Oh, do I? Oh, okay.
20.
Damn, that's fucking good. Cool. So as you speed up your horse to a relatively fast, not a full speed one, but a relatively fast run, and as you pull alongside Marianne, and the doctor is sort of holding his hand out, like, look at the likeness. You look forwards, and you can see that across 2 trees in the road is strung a very, very taut length of rope, and you are going towards it at quite some speed.
I'm gonna rear up my horse and get my pistol out, and then hope that Marianne figures out that that's the signal to stop. But I'm not gonna shout stop because I don't want the bad guys to hear me say that. So,
quick question mechanically.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't get anywhere near 20. I think I got 14 on mine.
Mm-hmm.
Do doubles make a difference outside of combat? 'Cause I think we both got doubles on that.
You both got a double. There is doubles in combat normally mean a grand success. We'll say that you sense that you're kind of focusing as well, and you sense the movement from the side of you in with your double, and you can notice that Ace is coming to a halt, and then
I will follow suit.
Cool. So you guys,
because his name's Ace.
a
Follow suit.
cool. So you guys you slide. Your horses slow down so much the hoofs sort of skid, and yours kind of rears up in the air, and you cling on quite tightly, Nathan, because oh my god, there's now a hole. You're now up in the air, and then you kind of stand there. Your horses sort of stand still, and the dust from the sort of settles, and everything goes quiet for a second, and you wait, and then you hear a voice kind of from the side of you go, "Oh, that's no fun."
Cock the handle of
Normally works that.
Cock the handle of my revolver and just swing it down to wherever I've heard this voice.
You see, you look and you see quite a short, stocky lad with a small little cowboy hat, and you can see short red hair underneath it, and he's wearing a short sleeved white shirt with a leather waistcoat, and he's got a revolver on his hip that he's currently got holstered, but he's got his hand on, and he looks at you, kind of spin the revolver, and he's like, "Oh, now that's not going to work either." And with his other hand, he snaps his fingers, and then you hear the cocking of 2 almost rifle mechanisms, and you hear those from in front of you, and you see 2 other guys have stepped out from the side, and they're pointing rifles at you.
I wager I can still blow your little head off before your friends can shoot me. That a gamble you want to take?
Well, I wager that you're probably a bit of a gambling man in your life.
Was it the card in the hat that gave that away, or...?
Quite possibly. I forgot this guy was supposed to be Irish for a second. But I tell you what, you're quite the insightful one. Seem to have undone me little plan there. You see, I've been hearing that you boys have picked up a little contract, and me and my lads over there, we want that reward money. So, I've got another thing in mind. Now, I'll admit, we were the ones who set this up, probably a little bit shady on our parts. Not very honourable. I think you'll agree. But how's about, I'll make you a deal now. And we'll do this fair and square. The old-fashioned way. Got quite the open space here. How do you lads fancy a bit of a duel? I'll challenge any one of yous. And if you win, yous can go and claim that bounty for yourselves. What do you say?
I was like, you already had a head start on us, so how come you haven't fulfilled the bounty already?
Well, it's an old mine, isn't it? Wouldn't want to get in there, claim it, and then walk out to you lot. Rather deal with yous if I know you're coming. So,
Also, we already have the contract. We gain nothing from winning the duel.
it's an open bounty. The poster's been up there for weeks. Just taking me and my lads a little while to figure out where to go.
How many of you are there?
Maybe there's just 3 of us. Maybe there's more. Do you really want to find out?
Yes, actually, I really would. If there's more of you, that would be fantastic. See, I'm thinking we all group up. I'll be honest, we don't really need that much money. We were quite impressed by the amount, to be honest. We're simple people. We get by on very little. I'm thinking we group up. We go in there, more bodies, more bullets. We kill Anne. We split it 50-50.
Wait. I like what you're thinking, Professor. What the fuck? What voice was I doing earlier?
You were almost channeling your inner
He's about to go Irish.
I was about to go Irish. I can't do it. Wait. Well, howdy. You know what, Professor? I was thinking something a little different. Why don't we all go in there first, right? And then we have this duel. Because, you know, if we go in there, we all might die. So, I mean, then this duel's kind of pointless. Why don't we do the duel afterwards? Why don't we all work together now? We cut off Big Anne's fucking head, and then we duel it out, whoever's left.
Sounds good to me.
You boys make a good point. I'll cut you a deal. We'll follow yous to the mine. We'll let yous go in. And we'll wait outside for you. Make sure they don't get away. But also...
I think you've misunderstood. We all go in together. We do the duel afterwards.
You're quite the negotiator, aren't you, mate? That big mouth gets you far in this world.
Yes, I had another job before this, but I don't like to talk about it.
What do you say, boys? He shouts over to his 2 mates, and they've been listening, and they've kind of relaxed a little from where they're like, "Oi, no, oi." Then we all get a chance to spill some blood. Let's do it.
Well, this is great. Can you remove your goddamn rope from our way so we can all go kill us some random bandit lady? You got horses? I assume you got horses.
Well, apparently we're more equipped than you are. And he looks at the professor.
I fish out a stick of dynamite and go, kind of down. Fuck, I'm doing Irish again. I kind of doubt that.
The saddlebags on our horse, I've also put all the fake dynamite in. I'm just going to lift up both pouches to show that they're full. Like the back of our horse is full of dynamite.
He's just like, "What are you doing?" No, but yeah, no. Jack will see that, and his face will turn red, and he'll be like, "Oh wow, you boys are fucking crazy, aren't you? Oh man, I can't miss this." Again, he snaps. He takes his hand off his revolver. He snaps his fingers again, and one of the other lads runs up with a knife, slices the rope clean. He's like, "Well, you were already heading there. You lead the way."
Well, thank you kindly, sir. And I clip our horse so our horse starts going. I'd hope Marion follows, but...
He gives a whistle, He has a horse that comes out, 2 horses that come out from the side. He jumps on one of them, and then gives the other one a smack, and it rides off. One of the other guys kind of grabs it and swings up onto it while it's going, and then he grabs the other one as he's galloping past.
While they're still
equally
behind
as
us.
equipped as us.
Oh,
Sorry, while they're behind us, I'm going to saddle up to Marianne, and I quietly say, "How do you feel about shooting people in the back?"
Well, they're a lot less likely to shoot back if they can't see you.
Maybe our new friends over there don't make it out of the mine. And then I nod and then click my horse to go a little faster.
cool. So apparently you've, for now, recruited a little gang of helpers. I think perhaps, maybe, we don't know. Cool. So eventually you rock up at some. You come out through the tree line. The sky opens up again, and then eventually you see the mountain range starts to approach, and you notice that there is a sort of old, like, if you follow the front of the mountain range for a bit, and then eventually you come to this channel, this sort of valley type shape with a well-used track going in and out, and high-sided cliffs on either side. And yeah, you rock up there. Jack and the other 2 are still behind you. Oh, it's mighty. It's definitely something. Well,
It's definitely a mountain. That's what that is. They not have those in Ireland?
You not seen a mountain before?
it's just impressive, that's all. He's gone both, apparently, now. You boys go ahead.
No, we're all going in together.
Yeah, I know. But you think we can fit 3 horses in a row down there? It's pretty narrow, looking at it.
Wait, so we're going to, like, round a pass?
Sort of, yeah.
Okay,
Pass.
I'll go first, and I'll get Marianne to go at the very back, if that's possible.
Sounds good.
Jack kind of he strolls past you, Marianne. He kind of gives you a sort of weird, like that look that Tormund gives Brienne in Game of Thrones. It's like he drops the Irish for a second, and then he carries on. His friends kind of follow. They give you a look that's a lot more stern, and then yeah, you can bring up the rear.
I'm just gonna smile at them as they go past, just like, and what type thing.
Cool. So you go, you carry on this pass. It gets much narrower as you go in. Eventually, you can see a sort of wooden not arch, but square entrance. With a land that opens out in front, and there is old abandoned mining tools strewn about the place. There are very loose piles of loose rock, old buckets, and like old working equipment. And then there is this open sort of 10-foot by 10-foot wide square shaft that's not at a steep angle, at a sort of gentle incline, leads off down. And you can see, if you look in, that there is still a cool breeze blowing out through, and from down inside where you would expect it to almost be pitch black, there's a faint flicker of light down the end of this tunnel.
So, disused mining equipment, is there just like a hatchet?
There are pickaxes. They're sort of large, two-handed. They're quite worn, like the heads are very rusted, and the wood is definitely it's rough, like to hold. But they're there.
Conceivably, could I throw one like that? Like overhead, throw it at someone.
I mean, if you were going to stop here before you hit yourself,
Yeah.
you could conceivably throw one like that.
Okay, I'm going to pick one of those up.
Cool.
2 unrelated things, obviously.
2 unrelated, of course. Everything's got to be unrelated.
Yeah.
Nice. So,
Are there tracks and carts, and do they still look fairly usable?
No tracks or
necessary.
carts that you can see on this. There is evidence of old rails, but there's no, looking around, there's nothing that you can see in the area that would dictate like mining carts.
Okay.
At least on the outside. All I'm saying. So,
And the other question is it hard floor, as in if we go in with horses, is everyone gonna hear?
oh, like it's
Bit
ground like the outside. There's wooden struts along where the tracks are, and then everything else is just stone.
I'm gonna tie up Ross outside the mine. What are we going for? I think.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Awesome. So, you head down into the mine, the three of you.
But just before we head in, I'm gonna take the saddlebags off the horse and sort of like put them over my body, so it looks like I've got like basically a chest rig of dynamite.
It doesn't. It looks very, very bulky and uncomfortable. Like you probably wouldn't have full movement if you had them on there like that. Struggle to move, kind of tactically, but yeah, no, you can definitely do that.
Cool.
Nice one. So you all three of you head down into the mine. Jack comes with you, but he says before he goes, "Do you mind if I leave me boys out here? They're not going to do nothing while I'm down there with you. They listen to me. But we can do this, right? We don't need them."
Why wouldn't you want them?
Oh, you're a bit fucking useless. They're big and they're scary when they want to be. But they don't really listen when I ask them to do stuff. You boys seem like you got your head screwed on a bit more than they do.
Okay, partner, you can leave them outside. That's fine. We can live with that. And I just like give like the longest like stare to Marianne possible.
I'm gonna take 2 of the dead sticks of dynamite and give 1 to each of them, and say, if anything goes wrong, blow the mine up.
They look very, very shocked. And they kind of look at Jack and he goes... Like after a minute he nods. Right. Let's go get rich, boys. And he strides off down the mine. Do you follow?
Yeah, I'm kind of walking just in front of what was his name, Jack.
Jack.
Yeah, I'm walking just in front of Jack.
Cool. So
yeah, I'll keep bringing up the rear, keep an eye on him.
nice one. So you head down inside. It takes a little while. It's a very long. This tunnel kind of turns a bit as you go. It's very much a gentle incline, and eventually it just starts to level out. And you see before you there is what light you were seeing before was kind of small torchlights along various points in the tunnel to sort of give people in direction as to where the turns were coming up. What you now walk out into is a very large open cavern. Something that was obviously, you imagine a mine whereby they would come down to this point and they would mine backwards and eventually they would open out the space. Like, no one would have thought that this area could be used in this way that you're seeing now. But there is almost a town. Like, you can see buildings in the same kind of, not as the same size, but the same kind of design that you saw in Genoa. And there are people sort of there are sat around. They're all armed. They all look very stern, but they are sat like there are 4 people at the first building, and then you can see there are more torches aligned along the back walls, and you can see a few more buildings. So one in the center, one in the foreground, sorry, and there are 2 in the center, and then there's another one that you can see, which is much grander at the back. But then, yeah, you initially walk in to this room, this massive open space, and it takes you a second to process what you're seeing, because it's just something that's not, you wouldn't have expected this to be underground. looking around further, you can obviously see the lights on both sides. You can see high up almost a bit of daylight from an old mining exhaust, like an old air tube that the miners used to use. And yeah, looking at the first building in more detail, you can see 5 men all sat around in a circle with a table outside, lighting up the porchway that they're sat in front of. Just, they seem to be chatting, drinking, having a good time. They're all playing cards. And yeah, you see there's a little bit of a low stone wall off to your left that, if you needed to, you could go and set up behind. But yeah, no, that's the scene as you see it in front of you.
Friends, this is definitely not up to health and safety code.
As you're saying that, I've got a cigar in my mouth, and I light a match next to my, like on my boot. Light my cigar and go. Bradley's neither smoking neither dynamite, but all this is going to be red mist soon anyway.
Also,
I don't think that would be too difficult.
I'll let you guys take the lead on this one. What's your first play?
As an explosives expert, would I be able to spot structural weaknesses in the mine that would be prime position for planting explosives?
So you can see that obviously the tunnel is very compact and confined, but the extent of this cavern and what you can see in front of you, like they've been able to build actual buildings here. There is it's probably, if you had to guess at the size, because there's not too much light, you've only got little isolated light sources. If you had to guess at the size of this cavern, you would probably say that it was about 20 meters wide, maybe 50 to 60 meters long, and the ceiling you can't even see where it is, because again the light only is very isolated. So really, I'd say that looking at this particular space, with what you've got on you, there is nowhere that you think you could place something to bring it down.
I don't think we bought enough bombs for this.
Have you got explosive skill, Naomi?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't.
What happens is Ace, after he's lit a cigarette, fishes that piece of dynamite, lights the end of it on his cigar, throws it over to the professor and goes, "How's you throwing on that table?" And then he just pulls out his revolver and starts walking forward, expecting you to throw that, take out most of them first.
Cool. I'm gonna catch it and then throw it from hand to hand. Go, yeah, and then just gonna throw it.
Nice one. Make an explosive skill using brawn to throw this explosive.
Can I set a couple of traps in the tunnel entrance? Or one of the bear traps that we brought with us?
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll let you set that up as this conversation's happening. You can set up a bear trap in the entrance, inside, obviously, where you've just walked into the cavern. You mean? Yeah. Yeah, sure.
As if kind of for people running out away from this potentially large explosion that might be happening.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. I've just seen what's happened, and that is fucking perfect. Oh, I'm so happy right now. So that's you cannot roll better than that, obviously. So what happens is you take this, and then with almost you kind of fling, and you're like, I'm not really sure if this is gonna work, but then you fling it, and you see it kind of fall, and you kind of think it's going to fall short, but then it catches on the edge of one of these buildings, and kind of spins, and it lands plumb in the center of the table where these 5 gents are playing cards. And they kind of look up for a second, and they look at each other in panic, and they all start to
if they look up, can I shout, "Deal me in, boys!"
And one of them, at that point in the shock, turns and he sees you walking, and in that moment, this ear-shattering explosion rips through. There is and like I say, deafening dust is shaken from the shockwave that is released by this device. These guys, again, their top halves move and their bottom halves don't. Let's put it that way. And they just go up in all directions. But no, yeah, you're slightly dazed, especially you, Ace, because you were walking.
I imagine Ace like fully just like fell backwards. His fucking hat sprawled off.
Yeah, so yeah, if you want that to happen, then yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That's you're dazed. We'll say you're dazed then for this particular round because you have been just blown off your feet. But no, yeah, these first 5 gang members have just been obliterated, and now you two slightly further back, like you've seen where this was going to land and were able to sort of cover yourself. Marianne was expecting it too, and you guys can both sort of hear, like as you guys come like, fuck was that? What the? And you can hear shouts and voices and people trying from the 2 houses further up ahead. People trying to get themselves organized and figure out what the hell was just going on. So we'll skip over. I almost called you Aldrich then. You're not Aldrich. You'll skip over Ace because you're stunned. Marianne, what would you like to do? Obviously, hearing that people are.
So have I set up my bear trap?
Yep, that's been we did that before.
Great.
Like that's been set up in the entrance. So you set that up, and then yeah, so you've got this building, which is now there's nobody around it. There's no concern. You walk around. There's 2 other buildings you can see. If you just sort of peer from where you are, you can look around and see 2 other buildings. And yeah, what would you like to do in?
I'm gonna gesture to Jack, and say, "We're going in. Off you go." And I would like to kind of. You said there was a low stone wall, so I'll kind of take cover behind that and see if I can take a pop shot at one of the guys coming around the other building.
Oh yeah, so just if you look obviously you can see a couple of guys that are running sort of towards this first building. Some movement behind them, but you can't quite work out exactly because of, again, the isolated light sources, but you can definitely see a couple of guys running to see what's figured out, and yeah, you can take a shot at one of them if you want.
Yes.
Awesome.
That would be good.
Yeah, so make me a ranged combat check, please.
Remind me.
So it's
what I'm adding to it. What's that?
So it's your skill in agility.
So, yeah.
You've just got your pistol, haven't you?
Yes. 15.
15. Let's just stop it. Sorry, my computer's glitching out. Yep, no, that's fine. So yeah, 15. You can see one of the 2 gentlemen is just a lowly gang member that you can see running. He's got very much tattered clothing on. He's got a sort of, none of them are wearing hats, obviously, because they're down underground. But the other one looks much more seasoned. He's got a bandolier and he's got a rifle, and he's the one who he stops for a second to kind of assess, sends the other one off in front, and as they cross paths, and this young lad is the first one to take the hit, and then as he goes down though, this man with the rifle, he sees this flash behind him from where you've come from, and he raises his rifle and he fires at you back, and you will trade shots, so take 1 hit point of damage from that, as this round from his rifle, shooting into the dark, following where he thought the muzzle flash was, just kind of grazes over the top of your shoulder. You kind of duck back down. Cool. So we'll go back to good old Professor. What are you doing?
So I'm also making a dash for the low wall. How many people do we see in there now?
So you've only got one guy that you can see clearly, which is the man with the rifle, and that's there is movement more. There is movement behind him, but indiscernible in terms of how many people.
Okay. Okay, yeah, okay. I'm just gonna I'm making like a diving shot with the catapult as I dive behind the wall.
Nice, yeah. Go ahead. Range combat.
It's just 3d6, right?
If you've got range combat trained, you can add agility to it.
That was it. Yeah. Okay. Cool. It's 15.
Let's say it's almost exactly the same. But yeah, so you again you dive behind this wall and you take this catapult and you hit this man in a much similar move to what you were used to, square between the eyes, and he goes down. But we'll say you do unfortunately take a point of damage also, and we'll say that happens when you land. You leapt, you thought it was going to be cool, you've gone down, and then as you land, you come to a halt and you're like, fuck, it's so sore.
I'm gonna look at Mary and go, worth it.
Nice one. So
there's a wall there.
Nice. So yeah, you are no longer dazed from that insanely cool opening move, Ace. So feel free to act in this moment.
So what happened was one of the exploded guy's hats lands like right next to Ace, and it's obviously everything's covered in soot from the explosion, right? So what he does is he knocks his own hat off and he puts on someone else's hat and grabs some soot and smears it over his face. And he stands up, and I'm using my disguise thing. And he goes, "Holy! They're really going to blow us up!" And then I'm just going to run for the cover because they can't shoot me because I'm disguised. So
yeah, you can definitely do that. So where are you going for the low? So the low wall, I should mention, is like back a bit. So you can go for cover that's like so you've got the
if I can
wall.
get something that's flanking them so that they'll come in like a kill box, that would be preferable.
Yeah, so you've got the wall, then the first house, and then past the first house is where the movement is happening. So you can go past the first house. You'll be in front of obviously the rest of the guys, but yeah, you won't take any.
I'll take whatever cover I can from the first house.
Yeah, so you can go. We'll say that there's if you go past the first house again, about the same distance away again.
Mm-hmm.
Say 5 meters from the low wall to the first house. Then about 5 meters further on from that, there's another kind of like alcove in the cave with like a large jagged boulder sticking out. Yeah, you can kind of take some room behind. On the way past, you'll see a couple of guys. You'll see about 3 guys come past you, and they'll sort of like one of them will look at you and like, what happened? What? Hey, my man, get back there. We got this. And he'll go. And then, yeah, they'll start moving towards the other house. Is there anything else you would like to do? Or is that a wall?
So if I'm now in cover, I'll lean out and take a shot if I can. If that's the thing I'm allowed to.
Are you going... Where are you shooting?
At the guys that just ran past me.
Cool. Yeah, I'll let you do that.
That's plus my wits for ranged combat, or is it the other one, agility? 11 all in all.
Unfortunately, 11 is
Do I get anything for flanking?
We will say you get a +1 for your wits, and that does take it to the DC that you require for one of the gang members.
Okay.
So you
got a double.
You did also get a double, which means you do not take any automatic damage from this hit. So, just enough. You swindled me there, but I'll give you it because it was a good tack. So yeah, you shoot past this guy. Get back, we got this, and he walks. And then yeah, you say you kind of spoil past him, and as he moves past you, the other two have kind of run off ahead of him. And as he moves past, you just spin on him and just shoot him in the back of the head.
Nice.
Oh,
and then
that
you
is
fade.
a brutal execution.
And you just fade into the shadow. And the other two, hearing this, sort of turn like they're now they're just frantically looking around now. They've both got like sort of small, barely usable pistols, but they're both looking around just in shock. And then we'll shoot back to Marianne. What would you like to do?
So, just before that, because there's no order of play, can I go first?
What would you like to do?
So, as Marianne goes to move to do her thing, I want to put my hand on her arm, and I want to pop up and try and shoot my blowpipe at the remaining 2.
Okay, yeah, sure. That's range combat again.
Yeah, I'm going to go, let's see if this works again. I'm going to pop up, and actually, I can do it from cover, apparently. I don't know how that works roleplay-wise, but it says I can do it from cover.
Yeah, we'll say that. Like,
What do I add to this actually? Is
I
it
mean, I
just
think
arrange
you
the
can use
set,
it.
right?
You can basically do it from cover because, like, you flavored it with obviously using a blowpipe, but you don't have to. You could just have sat behind cover and like just picked a couple of
Oh,
guys.
I see. Okay.
But it's fine. Like,
Um,
we'll flavor it. Like, they're currently frantically looking around anyway, so they're not really sure what's going on. But
so this is but that's an 8 with a double.
yeah, unfortunately, 8 isn't going to work. You take your blowpipe out and you look up, you pop up. But again, the erratic movements of these lads and the light and the kind of displacement from the light down at this end, especially with the explosion that just happened, you can't really get a clear view of one of them, and you shoot your pipe and it just kind of goes wide, unfortunately. But you won't take any automatic damage, so feel free. Yeah, Marianne, you may act now.
What's Jack doing? Is he going in, or is he just cowering somewhere, being useless?
He's not. He's not. Doesn't seem to be actively doing anything, but he does. He seems to be watching you quite intently. He's like, "Oh, this is nice. Oh, you and I should do this more often, Gal."
I'm gonna turn around to him and say, "I thought the agreement was that you were gonna help." And then I will take a
if
shot
I
at
help
one.
you, will you give me a kiss?
Uh-huh. It's just
Oh,
like kind
very
of
well then.
completely kind of that. I mean, there's a gunfight going on, and that it's clearly more exciting. Like
Oh, very
I
well
love
then.
that.
priorities all over the place.
Love that.
Oh. Yeah,
Um,
he's gonna pop up at the bin and he's gonna take a shot at one of them.
Yeah, so I'll turn around to her and say, I thought you were gonna help. One each, and I
Yep,
will take a shot at one of the guys.
Yep. So we'll say I've rolled mine, but you roll yours first, and then we'll see.
Okay. 3d6.
Yeah. So we'll call that a concerted attack because you were acting together. You were both taking a target. So because you take both of them down, neither of you take damage because there's no one left essentially in the immediate vicinity to shoot back. So yeah, he pops up and, oh, absolutely. And he'll take his revolver and then you'll level yours at him, both of you at the same time, fire off a shot. Both of these lads still frantically looking around, just get hit and go. And he looks at you and gives you a wink. Can we get this over first? Then I'll be waiting on me payment.
Okay. It's just that very kind of naive, just that. I mean, sure.
All right, Chief.
So we'll go back to Ace. Sorry, forgot your name again.
Thank you for the subscription. Wally the First. Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you very much. No, considering you've basically played every character you've ever played on this stream in this session, I don't remember what your name is, but I've remembered it's now Ace. So from your position where you are, would you make me a perception check?
I can do your perception check. I will need to really quickly look up if that's wit or insight, but yes. Insight. Oh, they're both the same. So 3d6 plus 4. Boom. For 15, my guy.
For 15. Lovely. What you can see then from your position, you can see these two buildings. They're there, and you can see guys like they're sat there. They're organising themselves. There's about another 4 guys that are organising themselves. There's another one that looks in this very, very like well dressed, like the sort of senior, if you will, and another 3 gangers all frantically trying to load revolvers. And they're trying, because the lights have been disturbed down at that end, and the sort of light has dimmed a bit, so they're peering, trying to see what's going on. But what you can see, aside from these buildings, seems to be an old, sort of raised up platform where you are, sort of just like of like an old what you're looking up at it, and it looks like it was almost a mine track that was kind of raised up. Like there was a system of cars and rails that seemed to travel up and around this area, and the old workings for that are kind of directly above these buildings. and there seems to be some old equipment that seems to be hanging around up there. That's what you can see from your position.
Okay. Is it my go again?
Mm-hmm. At the start of your go.
Okay.
Like,
I'm gonna
made that at the start.
Okay, I'm gonna shout out. We've only come here for one of you. Why don't we do a duel for it? Big Ann, I'm calling you out.
See, I would normally say that would have more of an impact, but in the heat of this moment, and the thing that's just happened, they are very edgy, so they're just jumping at noise. They don't know where it's come from, but they're just frantically like searching now for the voice. They don't seem to have reacted to that.
Okay.
Because that's just speaking. Obviously, I'll let you do it for free.
Okay. I will light another stick of dynamite and throw it wildly down the corridor. I'm not worried if it hits anyone. I'm just going to keep creating chaos until eventually she comes.
Cool. So you just want to throw that. So make a... What skills have we got? Check me.
I've got ranged combat is the closest thing. I don't have explosives.
What other skills though?
We got empathy, we got perception, we got arts, and we got conceal.
So, where are you throwing this towards them?
Yeah.
Okay, range combat then. I thought you were throwing it away from them, but
no, I'm throwing it at them. I'm gonna keep. We'll keep killing the mobs until the big boss spawns. Wits. Full. 2 2s. And 13 altogether.
13 is enough for you to get the... We'll say you get the stick of dynamite. It rolls just sort of short of the second building, but it goes off, and you see the first two gangers and this sort of senior figure just go get absolutely minced again by the shockwave. The third one, who was kind of behind all of them, or the fourth one, sorry, goes down, sort of picks himself up, and he just screams and he runs for the tunnel entrance. And then you hear about 15 seconds later, you hear a very distinctive metallic, and then you just hear a scream again. And then everything seems to go quiet for a minute. Again, your ears are ringing still from this explosion. And then you hear from the back of this room very slow clapping sound. Very good, boys. Well, seems like you've been bold enough to come here. Figured I'd be bold enough to come out and show you my face. I'm sure it's me you've come for. How's about you extend me the same courtesy? We're out of tactical combat now, we'll say. Everyone can act in whatever order they want.
I'll step out like this. No guns. See? We can talk.
Sure we can. Speak.
But I got one just point of business to deal with first.
Really?
Don't be surprised. Don't be alarmed that this is going to happen. And then I turn to not look at her and I go, Marianne, thing we discussed. Now's a good time.
I will turn around and shoot Jack in the face.
Kiss.
So this is what Jack is doing. So you both have taken out these two guys, and he's like, he's feeling a bit more of that adrenaline rush now, and he's doing it with. He seems to be quite enamored that he's doing it beside you, and he just kind of like looks at you and he's like, "Oh, we make a good team, you and I, don't we? I keep forgetting your fucking accent. We make a good team, you and I, don't we?" He's smiling at you at this point. That's what he's doing.
Something like that, and bang.
Yeah. He's like, that's what he does. And then, yeah, you hear a gunshot from behind you, Ace, back in the corner.
All right, I think we good, Marianne.
I mean, I'm assuming we are.
All right.
Did I hit him?
Yeah, he's dead. He went down.
Oh, okay, I missed that bit. Sorry. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
sorry.
good. We're good.
Sorry, yeah. Forgive me, yeah. You shot him in the face, he went down.
Right.
All right, thank you. We just needed to deal with that. So I believe you are the Big Ann. What is Ann really your name?
You really come here to charm me, boy?
I thought
Is
I'd
that
give
really
it a
why
go.
you're here? Coming in here? Causing all this damage to my lovely town? Got some serious balls, let me tell you.
Well, my mama always used to say, boy, you either have the biggest pair of balls on you or no brains. And she'd said, I seen it as a baby, and it ain't the first one. So, who knows?
You don't make much sense, do you, son?
That probably made sense in my head, ma'am.
Well, apparently I underestimated how many men I needed to guard this place. What? Then again, I've never really needed anyone other than myself in the past. And she opens up her coat, pushes it back, and draws a pistol. Anyone else want to do anything? Nope.
Are we going for the honourable duel, or
She's not. Just saying
you
that
can
right
have
now.
it of a lifetime?
You've just blown up her cave. She ain't doing it.
Have I still got my
they're
cigar
not,
in?
They're not dueling.
We're not dueling. Okay.
But also, I think I would have walked up at this point. Like, not. I don't think I would have got
I'll
all the
let
way.
you close if you want. We're out of tactical combat. I'll let you close if you want. Yeah.
Yeah. She's just drawing a pistol and gonna shoot.
She's drawn it.
I'm gonna draw the doll of her and just go. I wouldn't do that if I was you.
Currently, she hasn't drawn to shoot you. Currently, she's just holding it at you. She's like,
Yeah, I'm just holding a doll like it's a gun in a really weird like. This is the first time I've ever done this. I don't even know if it works.
so she's pointing the gun at Ace. We'll say, and she looks over.
I'm putting. We're
No,
going
you are,
Mexican standoff style. I'm putting the doll at her.
Well, she looks over towards you as you walk up at this point. And Ace, Ace, assuming you're just standing.
Ace very slowly puts his hat back on.
She's standing, pointing a pistol at you. She hasn't drawn it to shoot you. She's pointing it, but she looks at Nate and goes, "And what's that supposed to mean?" And then she pulls the hammer back on the pistol.
I made a doll that looked like you.
Yeah, I'm gonna also give that same look. I'm just like, I think I'm gonna stick with my pistol.
You fellas really are strange. Anyone ever tell you that?
Mm-hmm.
I would also like to level my pistol at her.
Ah, now we got something. Cool.
Ace is going to reach into his back pocket and pull out a stick of dynamite, the last stick.
Oh, boys. Oh, you know what? It's been so nice recently having a load of lackeys to do my heavy lifting for me. But you know what? She pulls a second pistol out of her back. Doesn't shoot, but she levels it sort of. You can tell her sort of like limbering up. She's like, well, you three and me, given what I know about myself, I'd say the odds are about even.
We could always take you in warm. This doesn't have to end in you dead.
Oh, man. You think I want to go in at all? Me dying here right now? Much more preferable than anything he would do to me. But you know what? I reckon I'll be all right. You reckon you'll be all right?
Yep. And I snapped the neck.
Oh,
on the
shit.
video.
So yeah, she's again, her look before when you were showing her it was just one of complete indifference. Like she did not care what you were doing. What you hear, even from inside this cave, you can kind of hear a rumble of thunder as this doll's head kind of turns, and all the torchlight in the cave kind of dims, and then like you see her all of a sudden she just drops both pistols and just oh
Oh no!
oh no, here we go.
I'm
Oh,
back.
the voodoo powers got him.
That's some weird voodoo magic right there.
That was really freaky.
So yeah, so she drops both her pistols and just starts like just gasping as if she's struggling for breath. And she goes down onto her knees, and she's just holding her throat, like she's confused, like there's a look of panic on her face, and eventually she's turning red and eventually purple, and just goes down onto one arm and just looks up at you. And again, just looking at you in the eyes, just holding this doll, and eventually the gasping subsides, and she just falls off of her elbows onto her face.
I look at the other two and just go, I'm gonna be completely honest, I didn't even know that was gonna fucking work. I was so fucking scared. I've pissed my goddamn pants and looked down, I just got a big wet patch. That was fucking terrifying.
The cigar just drops out of Ace's mouth on the floor.
Nice one.
You haven't got any more of those, have you? Okay. I'm just gonna take a step back. Just...
I'm gonna
Nice.
pull the voodoo book out again and just flick through and then I'm gonna read and go, she shouldn't be dead. Quick, tie her up. Do something. Ace, do your thing.
Ace just
So
starts
we will-
unloading
I
the
think
pistol
we'll-
into the keeled over corpse. Just 6 shots.
I think, so you know what, guys? This whole merry band of weirdo chaos is perfect now. Nate is confused about what just happened. Ace is like, well, I guess it's happened. And then Marianne is really questioning the decision she made joining these two on an adventure. And you know what? That's where we'll end it. Because that's brilliant.
Beautiful.
Oh, that was so much fun. I love that. That was as chaotic as anything, and it was brilliant. Thanks for that, guys.
Death by a doll.
Oh, Ben, I have something for you. It's
You do?
it's the orb of control. Do you want it back?
I'm the host again. Thank you all for playing a wonderful game of Desperados, the role-playing game, over here on twitch.tv/flickering torch with us, the variant rules. Thank you very much for our 2-week special guest, Naomi. Do all your plugs and all of your sayings of things. Go.
Well, as always, as I said last week, I don't really have a life online, so check out these guys because they do good things.
Oh,
Good
sweet.
things.
Good things.
Good things.
Good thanks. Right.
I
I'll
already
go next.
You'll go next.
Yeah, I'll go next.
Jordan, please, go. I'm the host.
Thank you very much, Ben,
I shot,
the
I shot,
host.
you know.
I am Jordan. I am Uninformed RPG on YouTube and also on Twitter at Uninformed RPG, where I do tweets mostly about the stream, to be honest. I don't really tweet a whole lot, but on YouTube I do make videos about being a new player to this hobby and how you can get settled in both as a new player and as a new GM. So go check that out if you're interested. Thanks very much.
Awesome. And now,
Check it out.
Nathan, please. I, as the host, am giving you it.
Sernade. Yeah, I am Sernade. You can catch me over on twitch.tv/Sernade. You'll normally see my face there, and lately accompanied by this gentleman's gentleman's face as well.
You were pointing the right
as
way.
well as
the first
was
time.
I?
Yeah.
A face, another face, and another one because we have D&D Profit with us usually at the moment. I try to stream every Monday. I wasn't well this Monday. I had a bit of a headache, which I still haven't managed to shake. But lately, we're just doing lots of Sea of Thieves. We like pretending to be pirates. We're pretty shit pirates, I'm not going to lie. Ben falls off the ship more than...
Stays on it.
More than he stays on it, yep. So yeah, he's turned into a really good swimmer and a really shit pirate. But yeah, so you can find me over there. Same as all of the socials. We've got YouTube. It's called Off Topic. We're going to be posting more videos there now that I've got more time, I guess. We're getting that back up off the cavern floor. But yeah, awesome. Thanks. I've really enjoyed those last 2 weeks. So thanks for having me, as usual.
Been lovely, really fun. Finally, you can watch us here on twitch.tv/flickeringtorch. Some weekday when we figure out. I think we're moving to. Are we moving to a Wednesday? Is that what we decided?
Yeah, probably.
Wednesday, maybe.
This day.
Possibly Wednesday. We've got a thing in the works. We just need to finalise everything before we can give the information onto you good people. The streams are backed up on youtube.com/theflickeringtorch. Sometimes there's also opinion pieces and reviews, although I have been pretty bad at uploading them recently. Thank you again for watching. We love you all. And you know
We
what?
do love you. Who do you love the most?
You're my favourite. You there. Not everyone else listens to the stream right now. You. Sat at home. You got your nice little cup of hot cocoa. You enjoying it? You enjoying that cup of hot cocoa?
Yeah, go on. Enjoy it. I dare you.
And you're making it weird.
You should enjoy it. It's meant to be weird. The whole bit is
thing.
it gets weird. Alright. Say goodbye, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, guys. See you
Bye.
later.
Good time. Goodbye.